Importing cars from Japan. You never know what you're gonna get. You could get a rust bucket or a mint example.
Or, like cars and crafts, you could get nothing at all. Today, we are finally going to cover the story, with the blessing of Cars and Crafts, of their stolen but recently found 2002 Nissan Skyline GTR M-Spec NER. Hey all, I'm Tom, the Racing Joker, and this is
Vroom News.
Vroom News. Am I copying PewDiePie? I probably am, subconsciously. It's fine. So, welcome to the first episode of this new series, and I thought it would be really cool to cover a story that I've been wanting to cover, but have been waiting for permission from the true owner of this mint Nissan Skyline GTR M-Spec NER. The M-Spec NER is my favorite iteration of the R34 Gtr. It's a 2002 model year car. Less than 300 were made. Some things about it that are special. It had special suspension, a leather interior. It's a NER spec car, so it's got the 24U RB26 engine block, and a whole host of other things. The 300 kilometer per hour speedometer, the gauge cluster. It's a really, really, really cool car. It's my favorite iteration of the R34 GTR. Well, Cars and Crafts sent me an email a while back when I was really doing a lot of car reviews. Back when I did the WRX review, the Dynan 340i X-Drive review. I still did some reviews recently with the E46 M3 and the S550 Mustang and the S197. Cars and Crafts sent me an email saying, hey, I've got some cars you might enjoy filming too, possibly even reviewing. He might have had an R32 or an R33 at the time, and he also told me that he had just purchased an R34 GTR M-Spec NER. And he said, you should come down and film it when it arrives. The M-Spec NER falls under the show or display exemption, so he could have imported it years ago. It was exempt. He didn't have to wait for it to turn 25. Well, unfortunately, he's had to wait anyways. A real damn shame. So he's been kind enough to give me the blessing to tell you the story of just all the drama with purchasing this car. So he purchased this car for an insanely low price. He purchased it back in 2020, so prices were already much lower back then. But it also wasn't as far as I recall, a pristine example car. It was, I think, higher mileage and things like that. But it's still an M-Spec NER, so it costed about $130,000. But that's a great price with today's market in mind for an M-Spec NER. So, August 2020, he purchased it for about $130,000 and then placed it in storage with JDM Expo. There's things in here about, disputing sales tax and storage fees. I'm not really going to get into that. It's not really the meat and potatoes. But then we get Phase 9. Everyone who has been following the story is aware of Phase 9. They are the ones that were contracted with importing the car into the U.S. from Japan. They are the ones that the owner would be communicating with the process. The issues start to arise when Phase 9 tells them that there are some alleged engine issues with the car. From what I recall, it was things like seeing blue smoke out the exhaust and a couple other things like that. There's some stuff in here about how the owner wired $10,000 over to cover the importation agreement, and then Phase 9 transfers the car to, I guess, a shop to have the engine issues diagnosed, and I guess transfers means it was, ownership was transferred over or something like that. I'm not sure. Or custody, I think would be a better word. It was January of 2022 when they were talking about engine troubles. Now we're in February of 2022, and the car's been transferred over to somewhere else to be looked at. And then September 2022, Phase 9 has not given any updates and just kind of refuses to or fails to. Then in April of 2022, Phase 9 tells the owner that the U.S. government has denied early importation. Doesn't make any sense because it's on the approved list for show or display cars, so that's a little odd. Then in September of 2022, finally, late September of 2022, they inform the owner that the car is fixed. And here's where things get a little messy, because the owner thought the car was going in to just get some, like at the very least, a diagnosis done and maybe some engine work, right? Nothing beyond that. The owner had not authorized anything beyond that. Well, apparently, a whole load of unauthorized work was done on the car, and there was no communication for a while. And then when there finally was, Phase 9's attorney basically said, we're going to demand 65 million yen from you, which is about $480,000. Where the heck is that coming from? Well, apparently it had been some kind of restoration, or like a built by legend style restoration, I guess. That's the only thing that could cost $500,000, at least in my head. And that was basically the demand that, you know, if you want to buy the car back from me, even though you would already purchase the car, you could pay me 500 grand. And now apparently the car had been getting worked on at a shop called Kanto Power. And it had already been verified by the owner's Japanese lawyers, which he had procured and secured. Kanto Power is not a real shop. And for a while, that's kind of it. You know, the owner bought the car, was told that he couldn't get it imported early. There were some engine issues, blew smoke out the exhaust, had it go sent to a shop to get looked at. It got looked at, and then somehow $500,000 worth of work he did not authorize was done. And then he's told he can't have the car anymore, and that in order to have it, he has to pay for the work, assuming it even happened, at a shop that doesn't exist. 500 grand. It's not a good situation. It's pretty wild and pretty lame. Then we move on from November 18th, 2022. That's when he received the demand letter of $500,000, pretty much. 480. May 2023. Happy birthday to me. It is discovered that Phase 9 had hired Ultra Wide, I'm not sure who they are, to export the vehicle into the US without the true owner's permission. And I guess that goes through on May 25th. That's wild. Okay? But now, here's where it gets even crazier. We are now in March of 2025, and we've got some updates on this car. So here is Cars and Crafts Instagram page. You can see it on the screen recording here. And the car was recently spotted at a dealership in Indiana. They have an Instagram page. The car is currently for sale on consignment, apparently, at Graham Rahal Performance. Just scroll down here. Where is it? You posted a video of it, sir. So it looks like they might have deleted the video they posted about the car, which means they're cognizant of the fact that they probably shouldn't have the car. Well, let's see. Let's go back. You put the link to the post in here. Yeah, so the post was deleted. So we have just this to go on here.
GRP, and today we have two incredible spec.
So we're at GRP.
So we've got the GTR in Millennium Jade, and this thing is just as incredible as the day it rolled off the line. Of course, complete in right-hand drive for all of the JDM fans out there.
So the car is being advertised. You know, he ends the video with saying, "Which one are you taking?" The car is currently a GRP. Don't know what it's being listed for. Let me look it up. Graham Rahal Motorsports? Oh, Performance, sorry. Vehicle sales. Is it like in their inventory? Well, if it was in their inventory, it's not anymore. All inventory. Well, it's not listed. Well, GRP, if you still got the car there, you've got stolen property on your property. That's not a good look. Maybe you're not complicit, but you are now cognizant of the fact, I am sure, from all the comments you are getting on your posts, that car is indeed stolen. There's no... Well, I'll say allegedly, but I'm sure if asked, Cars and Crafts could show proof of purchase quite easily. So let's go and read about the timeline, the car was lawfully purchased in 2020, and then the car was stolen under false pretenses, doing business at Phase 9 Motorsports. Do they have an Instagram page? I wonder if they do. Yep. Well, I think that might even be the same car. I don't know. So they're still a thing. Somehow. It's amazing how many terrible... What is it with the car industry, car community? And no one is... There's so few people that you could interact with that just want to do good business with you. Everyone's trying to get over on somebody else. It's crazy. So here's the timeline for the car. Lawfully purchased in 2020, basically stolen after that. They took the guy's money. On March 18th, 2025, the owner became aware of the car's location. He's aware of the fact that, you know, it's for sale under a consignment arrangement. Probably not anymore. I guess the owner flew out to Indianapolis, and before traveling, he attempted to contact GRP by phone. Call was not answered. Did not leave a voicemail. Probably didn't want to warn them. He arrived in Indianapolis, okay, and he contacted the Zionsville... Wow, that's a hell of a town name. He contacted the Zionsville Police Department, ZPD, to report that the vehicle was stolen and was located at the GRP facility. The car is in Zionsville, Indiana, currently. ZPD responded, and they requested documentation, including the chassis number, proof of ownership. He provided both. ZPD confirmed that the vehicle was present at GRP. So, okay. I was then informed that by ZPD that if I attempted to enter GRP property, I would be subject to a trespass warning. ZPD is, that's not a good start, ZPD. We're aware of the fact that your car was stolen. You just provided proof of ownership. However, if you enter their property, we might have to charge you with trespassing. That's a good look. Don't you just love America? All right, now we're on to ZPD. Further stated that they could not locate a stolen vehicle report in their database at that time. So the owner contacted the detective I guess he'd worked with from the Orange Police Department in California, who has been investigating this matter since July of 2023. A report had not been filed previously because the vehicle's location in the U.S. was unknown. So, okay. Upon learning of its presence in Indiana, the detective filed the stolen vehicle report on March 19th of 2025. Despite this, ZPD stated that they could still not view the report in their system, although they were in direct contact with the Orange PD detective. ZPD informed the owner that without a report visible in their database, they could not seize the vehicle or take enforcement action. Translation: ZPD is aware that a detective filed a report and is saying even though the detective directly told us they filed a report, they still will not take action because of a computer system. And American computer systems for police departments are famously definitely not archaic and full of bugs and flaws. He attempted to so the owner then tried to file a stolen vehicle report at the ZPD station because California was not good enough for them. He was informed that he could not do that because the alleged theft occurred outside of Indiana, even though the car was now presently in Indiana and they were trying to sell it. So they were trying to commit a crime on Indiana soil, and I guess that wasn't good enough for him. And because he's not a resident either. You're a foreigner, get out of here. We don't want to help you. To hell with you and your stolen property. Jesus Christ. Zionsville. Observations and concerns is the owner obviously feels like he's been treated more as a suspect than a victim. He's been threatened with trespass, issued without first engaging in dialogue or seeking clarification, was unwarranted and deeply concerning. I would agree. He was not permitted to file a report in Indiana due to jurisdictional limitations, which is quite interesting considering he was able to do it in California, where you would think it would be harder. In reality, and I agree with this last point, because the owner says, in my view, ZPD has the authority and means to take more proactive steps, but has chosen a passive approach. I think passive is kind of generous, but, fine. Rather than initiating an investigation or acting upon substantial evidence and the word of another detective, I'm just adding that. They appear to be all waiting for all information to arrive through official channels. I somehow get the feeling, even if the information had arrived through official channels, getting the impression they just won't do anything anyway. And who's to say it hasn't already? I mean, I'm not saying that they're lying, but it's not impossible. That's just speculation. So back to reading what he's saying. That information has been provided by both me and by the Orange PD detective. ZPD's refusal to act in the absence of a locally visible stolen vehicle report appears to ignore the totality of circumstances and may suggest an undue prioritization of their relationship with GRP over the rightful pursuit of justice. People are recommending he contact state police. Yeah, so the car has been found. The police are acting like they'd rather the car stay stolen because they're letting them get away with it on a technicality. Everyone now knows where the car is, so I will be shocked if the car remains at GRP. GRP is aware of the fact that they have a stolen car, or had, because they deleted the video that they posted of it, because it's not on their socials anymore. And if you go...
And today we have...
Hold on. If you go to their socials,
And today we have...
it's quite funny. Let's just go to this post about a beautiful blue McLaren P1. Here's a comment here. You guys have some seriously amazing inventory. Stolen inventory, too. Help save the GTR. Hopefully that one's not stolen. For you to put exposed as the caption is wild. Exposed. Yeah, no kidding. Super shady that you deleted the video of that stolen Nissan. Are we not returning Cars and Crafts R34? Oh, there's a nice Carrera GT. You got Damon Fryer of Daily Driven Exotics asking what the price is from 16 weeks ago. Damon, I'd stay away. It's not looking good for these guys. That's a joke. In case people want to sue me. I mean, bring it on if you want. It's not like I don't have resources. But I'm mostly just making a joke if you really want to be a loser about it. Now, any other good comments? They have some pinned posts here. Oh, there we go. We got a Ferrari here and stolen too. Nice. Did you guys steal someone's GTR? First name Ben, last name stolen. Very nice. Please don't be condescending. Do the right thing and give the car back to the owner. Where's the stolen car? Is this car stolen too? Oh, man. Oh, they posted a story. Please visit our website regarding Colapo da Silva. Oh, they responded. They responded to the thing about having a stolen vehicle. Oh, boy. I might have to do some reading here. All right. We have the GRP statement regarding the stolen R34 Gtr. Feel like I'm a housewife getting into the gossip. Are you ready? Graham Rahal Performance submits this statement regarding Colapo da Silva and allegations that GRP is in possession of a stolen vehicle. This statement is based on facts which you can verify through the attached legal documents. One is a pending lawsuit that Colapo da Silva filed. The other is a police report based on Colapo da Silva's statements and conduct. On March 30th of 2023, Colapo da Silva filed a complaint in Los Angeles County Superior Court against Franz Teixeira of Phase 9 and a company owned by Franz Teixeira, Phase 9. In his complaint, Colapo da Silva seeks to recover money damages arising out of a failed transaction involving a Nissan GTR, R34 M-Spec NER. The complaint alleges claims for fraud, negligence, breach of contract, and conversion. Notably, the complaint does not seek to recover the GTR that Colapo da Silva claims he owns and was stolen from him by the defendants. Well, because he can just go and buy another one. He doesn't want to do business with them or figure out what... Or... I can see how this is worded. Additionally, the complaint does not attach a title or registration showing that Colapo da Silva is the owner of the GTR. Interesting. Interesting that you would say that. Further, the complaint admits that Colapo da Silva has never had possession of the GTR. Instead, the complaint alleges that on August 26th, 2020, Colapo da Silva paid a Japanese company for the GTR, and the seller kept the GTR in Japan at its storage facility until January of 2021, when it was allegedly transferred to the defendants in Japan. The complaint alleges that the defendants never delivered the GTR to Colapo da Silva, so he sued them for the money he lost in the failed transaction. So, to summarize, they're basically saying, well, hold on. He's saying the car was stolen, but he's never actually shown proof of ownership or purchase, even though he can produce that. GRP, in the next paragraph, is saying, GRP was unaware of Colapo da Silva and his lawsuit until March 18th, 2025, when a police officer with the Zionsville, I thought it was Zionsville, Indiana. Don't confuse me, GRP. With the Zionsville, Indiana Police Department came to its showroom and explained that Colapo da Silva claimed that he owned the GTR and wanted to take possession of it. GRP was stunned and knew nothing about it. Later that day, the Zionsville Police Department advised GRP that it was not taking any action because there was no evidence that Colapo da Silva owned the GTR or that it was stolen. Wow. For example, Colapo da Silva could not produce a title or registration. Similarly, when Colapo da Silva previously advised the Orange County, California Sheriff's Department about the GTR, it did not treat the GTR as stolen because Colapo da Silva never registered the GTR in his name. Not that he could. The car was in Japan. The Zionsville Police Department incident report memorializes this fact, where it states that Orange PD did not enter the vehicle as stolen, as Colapo had never been the registered owner, because he hadn't taken delivery of it, which you also say in this statement. The incident report concludes with the following statement: there is nothing further at this time. After learning these facts, GRP felt badly for Colapo da Silva. He appeared to be victim of fraud or breach of contract. GRP, so that's benevolent. GRP authorized the Zionsville police. See, I don't have a script. GRP authorized the Zionsville PD officer to share the name and contact information of GRP's lawyer with Colapo da Silva's lawyers if they had any questions or wanted to discuss the matter. Yes, probably. Although the Zionsville PD told Colapo da Silva that there was nothing more it could do. Colapo da Silva advised the Zionsville PD that he was on the way to the airport and going to GRP's place of business. Because GRP did not know what Colapo da Silva intended to do when he arrived at GRP and did not want any confrontation, it advised Zionsville PD that Colapo da Silva could not come to its place of business. At the same time, GRP renewed its offer for Colapo da Silva's lawyers to contact GRP. So they're saying, we feel bad for you, but we don't want you to come here. We feel bad for you, but if you do come here, we will charge you with something. Instead, Colapo da Silva's lawyers sent a note making thinly veiled threats about maintaining GRP's reputation and demanding GRP hold the GTR by misrepresenting that there was a pending action from the local police department regarding the potential seizure of the vehicle. GRP responded by requesting that Colapo da Silva and his lawyers provide some proof of ownership, something that they have repeatedly claimed to possess. Date, however, they have failed or refused to provide a title or registration. They might be able to provide a receipt, it sounds like, but I guess that's not good enough. So I just sent him a message asking, you might not be able to provide a title or registration, but you can provide a receipt or a proof of purchase, right? GRP is an innocent party in this matter. However, let's also just punch down on the owner of the car. It's a shame that Colapo da Silva never got what he bargained for, but that does not give him and his lawyers the right to threaten, bully, or intimidate GRP by encouraging the internet to make false and defamatory statements about GRP based on incomplete information and half-truths. I don't think anyone is saying you possess stolen property, GRP, because obviously you're trying to sell it on consignment, so that doesn't technically mean you own it. Maybe you're not complicit. Look, GRP, I'm not saying you possess stolen property. I'm not saying you stole the car or are complicit in the theft of the car. However, it's quite interesting that your statement, for the most part, is you leaning real hard into the fact that the owner can't prove he's the owner in a way that would be sufficient to you. All you could have said was, we're not complicit in the theft of this car. You did say it appears that the owner was scammed, basically, and you feel bad for them. But then, despite feeling bad, you said, well, we don't like having mean things be said about us, and we'd like you to stop and take it back. And we don't like being bullied. Well, you accidentally advertised a stolen car. An alleged stolen car. So, yeah, wah, wah. You live and you learn. Here's I guess so here's the chassis number. Let's go to the GTR registry real quick. That's an interesting statement from GRP. We feel bad for Calapo, but he also he can't prove he's the owner. One of the interesting things I notice about the car is that it's a 2002, it's an April car, number 325 of the M-Spec NERS, or just the NERS specs, 81 of the M-Spec NERS. Got sat-nav, that's crazy. Yeah, like, so, I won't show the whole chat, but he said it popped up, he sent me a message saying it popped up in a dealership in Indianapolis. I said, do you think the dealership was aware of the car's history? And he said, most likely not, they were selling it on consignment. So even Cars and Crafts doesn't think it's complicit in the theft of the car. It's a little too brazen. It's a bit of a notorious car at this point. One of the things he noticed, or maybe I noticed, I can't remember, was that it's I guess a 2002 M-Spec NER, and the VIN plate in the left corner at the back of the engine bay by the firewall should be gold. Some R34s will have blue ones, some will have silver, but the NER specs have gold ones. What's weird is the one on this car is silver. So it's been obviously replaced at some point, which is odd. But it's crazy. Yeah, so just to summarize, R34 Gtr has been stolen as far back as 2020. It has been found in 2025, and the owner is being told he can't prove he's the owner, and the people who have it on their property don't like having mean things be said about them on the internet. Look, I don't think GRP is complicit either. It was a weird statement, kind of a know you kind of statement. I don't know. Hopefully, he gets his car back. Because I remember him talking about the purchase of the car years ago, and it's been an ongoing drama for him years. And then it popped up. So I've been meaning to make a video about this for a while. So let me know what you guys think of the whole situation. It's pretty crazy. But this was the first episode of Vroom News, covering the drama of the stolen M-Spec NER. Anyways, I'm Tom the Racing Joker, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.